Good evening and welcome. I'm so happy we're here together in community, especially this week. This has been a very hard week. The heartbreaking, chaotic incidents that have been unfolding over the past few days have left me speechless and perplexed. I have felt waves of sadness and grief welling up to the surface at different times. And I feel a great deal of emotional pain for those who have suffered in the hands of prejudice and racism. I have had many long conversations with friends, some of them also very long conversations with my daughter and my husband, and I am learning a lot. The question I have been asking myself is, what can I do to reduce prejudice and biases and increase compassion to wider and wider circles? And I think it really starts with self-inquiry and working with our own minds. It's asking ourselves what it would be like to be in a Black person's shoes. It is to develop the willingness to actually listen with humility and compassion without dismissing their experience because we want to make things better. It is to remember that we can make things better by acknowledging that there is an ingrained bias in all human beings, and acknowledging also that accepting that truth is very painful and it's very uncomfortable. In many ways, we all have been infected by or with the illness of prejudice. We have sort of inherited it. It is our conditioning, and it is not our fault, but it is our responsibility to take care of it. It is our conditioning because we are seeing it on TV, on ads, on the way people sometimes behave, on readings, on posts in social media, and all those things we start absorbing all those thoughts and beliefs without questioning them. I have seen this bias in every country I have lived in. And just like Dr. Ruth King, the mindfulness meditation teacher, explains, she says, racism is an illness of the heart, of the world's heart. And we can actually make things better by letting the person be seen and by sitting with our impulse to explain and defend our position. All these painful events are going on in the backdrop of so much going on in the world at this moment. 2020 is hitting us very hard with violence on top of the physical toll and the economic repercussions of COVID-19, which has been devastating all over the world. And then there is this other quiet pandemic, the mental health crisis. Last week, a Census Bureau service I was reading revealed a third of Americans now show signs of clinical anxiety and depression, representing a huge increase from before the pandemic. And that increased only in a little bit more than 2 months. So what can we do to decrease our suffering? For those of you who are new to this session, I would like to share some tools that have been instrumental in my life journey and that have actually transformed my response to the so many moments of anguish, grief, and distress I had in my life. And for those of you who have been attending our sessions for a while, I would like to reiterate that what I have shared many, many times in these sessions, that it all starts with awareness and it all starts with oneself. We don't have the power to change others, but we do have so much control on our own minds. Transformation really starts with each one of us. We have to go within and work with our minds first if we want to bring changes into our own lives and in the lives of and into the society, into our society. And this is actually the gift of mindfulness practice. Mindfulness teaches us to take care of what is going on here in our hearts so we can be available to ourselves and to others. And if anyone listened to that, if everyone did that, if everyone brought that conscious awareness, our blindness would be uncovered. The blindness on the suffering we could be causing to ourselves and to other people. One of my favorite quotes comes from the African American author James Baldwin, who says something, I think I'm quoting him right. He says something like, "Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced." So when the intensity of my pain is too much, I find refuge by turning towards the pain that I am feeling for everything that is going on right now. It is the only doorway to the truth, to the reality, the only doorway to coming to terms with what it is to be human and develop the love and the self-compassion and resilience and the space for what I am feeling. We are not going to find relief by turning away from what is happening or by shutting down. It is true, we may find temporary relief by numbing or turning away, but a feeling that is not dealt with at the moment will haunt us day after day until we lean into it and we understand its message. As we practice, there is a particular turning point that happens over time when we begin to see and understand that every emotion, including pain and grief and sadness, are key elements of the practice. They are not the obstacle. They are not wrong. They are not something to get rid of, but rather they are the doorway to the truth of our experience. So whatever we have been feeling is okay. The whole mindfulness practice is waking up to the way things are in our unfolding experience. And the invitation of this practice is to develop the inner strength and the balance to include everything in our experience. Every emotion is welcome. And when we are able to make space for whatever we're feeling, then we can begin to have the wisdom and the clarity to respond. And when we respond from that wise space, from that space of clarity, instead of reacting from fear, or simply ignoring our feelings or checking out, we can actually respond. I find titrating very helpful. Titrating is actually slowing your emotional response. It is also called pendulating. It's like a pendulum. So you touch the feeling, you touch the emotion, and then you touch it for a little time, and then you come back. What it means is to take things a little bit at a time, so we don't become overwhelmed by our emotions, and we can develop an inner source of strength. In that way we can metabolize, we can process the emotion and be with everything that is going on, and then we can draw on some of our resilience and develop the trust that we have that inner strength to deal with whatever life throws at us. So let's practice to ground ourselves. I will guide you on how to open a little bit at a time to actually everything that you're feeling, a little bit at a time, and find inner strength. This is a very short practice, but it's a practice that is very effective, and it's really helpful. So sitting comfortably, adjusting your posture as you feel comfortable in your body. You can be lying down, feeling the support of the ground underneath your feet and underneath all your body. You may want to roll your shoulders up and back to open up your chest. We can use this practice to help be balanced and to nourish ourselves. We will be training by shifting gears, so to speak, by going back and forth, making space for whatever we're feeling, and then coming back to our breathing, to our meditation for relief. Now I invite you to set a clear intention for the next moments that you will be here in your own body, your own breath, your own feelings. We are taking a step back. We are putting our emotions aside temporarily, just for a few minutes. So just being here with your own experience. Sitting and know that you're sitting. Putting your thoughts and emotions aside for a few minutes in order to create more space inside. Feeling the contact of your body with the chair and your feet on the floor. Feeling yourself sitting right here, right now. And it would be helpful to visualize being in nature, or in the company of a good, loving friend or family member, or in the loving company of a being that you feel loved and seen by. And holding that image, so when we go back and forth from your emotions, you can contact that image and find warmth and love and relief. I will use the image of a well of water, a spring of water that is pure, clear, cool, refreshing water rising up inside of me, inside of you. So you can choose one of those images and just sit with that image for a few minutes, for a few seconds. Sit with whatever image you have chosen. And when you start feeling a little bit more grounded, I invite you to open up to whatever you're feeling just for a few moments. Whatever emotions come up, feel them in your body. Acknowledge them by recognizing the emotion and labeling it. Like, this is sadness, or this is irritation, this is anger. Whatever emotion is visiting you, just recognize it and label it. Feel it in your body. And then go back and tap into that image you have chosen. It could be the spring of cool, refreshing water inside of you, or the company of that loving being. And stay with that image for a few seconds. And now coming back to whatever feelings and emotions are present in you right now. Welcome everything. Welcome the pleasant and the unpleasant. Tasting the flavor of that emotion in your heart and how it feels in your body. And see if you can stay grounded, and see if you can be with that feeling. And then in your own time, when you feel that that emotion is becoming too intense, you can step away and put your feelings down and tap into that image, the well of water inside you, or the loving person next to you, or just touch on the simple rhythm of your breathing. And then when you're ready, start to shift your attention outwards. Slowly opening your eyes and bringing your attention back to your room, wherever you are. Know that you can actually use this meditation as a template for just a 5 or 7 minute break to contact whatever feelings you're feeling and find a break. You contact the feelings and you go back to the image, and then you come back to the feelings and you go back to the image. And in that way, you are you're training yourself to be with whatever is coming into your life. Thank you so much. Namaste.